got in the truck about 10 o'clock and headed back home. I know that I drifted off to sleep, and the next thing I did was hit the right side bridge rail and woke up and saw headlights at the end of the straight stretch of the bridge. So I was on the bridge rail and I say, God help me. And the truck tilts and falls into the lake upside down. So got up really early, went deer hunting, went straight to the house, and I don't know how many loads of shingles I went up and down that ladder with, but it was enough to wear me out pretty good. But yeah. My girlfriend had a basketball game on a weekend that Saturday night, and it was over there close to where she lived. And I asked if he cared if I went, and he said no, he didn't care, but we were going to finish the house, finish the shingle job. And that ran us into the late into the evening. So I jumped off of the roof as soon as we got done, went and took a shower and took off to go watch her play ball. And when we got done playing ball, we went back to her house, hung out for a little bit, and I told her, look, I got to go home. I'm tired, sleepy. And her parents were, she was 15 to start with, but they wasn't about to let some teenager stay at their house overnight. Yeah. My parents wasn't going to be about it, so traveling was the only option we had. And so I got in the truck about 10 o'clock and headed back home. And there is a black lake separated the two places, and there's a large canal that had a bridge that went across it. And I got to within about 8 miles of that bridge, and I got tired, really sleepy. So it's November 22nd, 10:30 at night. I rolled my window down to kind of let the air flow, and it's really cold, and I'm waking up. So I'm cruising along, and I get a few miles down the road, like, this is crazy. Roll my window back up. There's a small church exactly 1 mile from the bridge, and I don't remember passing that church. I know that I drifted off to sleep, and the next thing I did was hit the right side bridge rail and woke up and saw headlights at the end of the straight stretch of the bridge, and corrected. I turned real hard to get off of the bridge rail and hit the other side bridge rail, and my truck hit it and turned back onto it and paralleled it. So I was on the bridge rail with tires on each side of the bridge, and I broke 3 pilings all after the fact, we figure out. So 30 feet traveling just like this. And then it stopped. I still see the headlights, and there's darkness on either side of the truck. And I say, God help me. And the truck tilts and falls into the lake upside down. It's a S10 single cab pickup, and it sinks to the bottom. I'm somewhat oriented, not completely sure of my surroundings.
You just woke up?
I just woke up.
Yeah.
And I have no idea how all of this happened, but the after the fact, you find out that the water in the middle of all the places the truck could have landed, it could have landed on the ground or the middle of the channel, and it went in the middle of the channel. It was roughly 10 to 12 foot deep, and it's dark. The headlights are shining. I still have water hasn't filled the cab completely yet. The dashboard lights are still on, and I'm desperately trying to get out of this truck. Can't get the door open. I don't really know where I am oriented in the truck. I just know that I've felt for sure the driver's side, because the airbag was all in my face. The driver's side, I couldn't open the door, and there was a large console, probably about maybe roughly this height, between me and the passenger side. And every time I would reach for the passenger side, water would just pushed me away from the passenger side. So I had no idea if I ever actually got on that side of that console at any point until close to the end, I guess. But I quit fighting after a little while, and I still see my headlights. I mean, well, kind of headlights. I see murky water and dashboard lights. And I just start to kind of get flashbacks of 17 years of life, of just kind of like it's almost like I was living my life again in my mind, I suppose. And I reached over one more time, and I felt the passenger side doorknob, but the water pushed me back again, so I just settled in, and I started making my peace. And by that I meant, God, I'm ready. Whatever we got to do, I'm ready. Yeah. And so I didn't take any breath in at that point, and I reached one more time after I did that. I don't remember what I said to him. I just know that I was prepared to go to heaven. I reached one more time, and I didn't feel anything that time. And remember, this is a S10 pickup, single cab. What we found out later was the entire cabin crushed in, and there was about that much different distance between the console and the windshield. Mm-hmm. And so for me to not been like kind of crushed or decapitated or whatever, that in itself was a miracle. Mm-hmm. But you just imagine that you're reaching out one time with your arms like this and you don't feel anything. All right, maybe there's something to this. So I reach again, and what ended up happening was I floated out of that truck. I felt my foot drag against something, and I swam like crazy to the surface. Come to the top of the water. I reached up. I come out. I took a big breath. I didn't see anybody. I saw the bridge, and I saw what I thought might have been land over on the other side. And I went back under. And then whenever I came back up, there were two men in a boat who grabbed me and pulled me into that boat. Now, I know that these were human beings. I know who they were because they told me their names and told me where they were from when it was all over with. But they were on the other side of the bridge, several hundred yards away from the bridge whenever they saw my truck go over. And then they said that it took them a while to get their motor cranked. It took them a while to get over to where I was at. And then they saw bubbles where the truck went under, and they sat there for a while. Now, there's an estimation that we tried to come up with, maybe 5 minutes. When the truck got pulled out, but with the boom truck, what we found out was the passenger side window got blown smooth out. So, assuming that that's an entire passenger side window open, and that's the only place that the water's coming in from, max time to filling up that cab, a couple of minutes. I've never held my breath for more than a minute and 20 seconds. Yeah. So for me to not die of aspiration at that point, at the 2-minute mark, was a miracle. Add another minute or so to that, it's more of a miracle. The fact that I'd given up and I'd asked God to help me and all of these things. This man right here is a miracle.